Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
It's a little souvenir from the old hometown. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That Hackman's line from 70. I still love that's a great line
that
from
was a good
Hackman.
poll. That was a good poll. That was a good poll. I like that because we are talking Kryptonite, and that's a good poll right there. I do dig that. I do dig that. And you're glowing right there, Scott. Are you feeling drained or are you feeling good?
I am feeling all powerful. Because if I can't control you, I guess I'm gonna have to kill you.
Nice.
Oh, what a great line.
Dude, that's a great episode.
It really is.
Jesus Christ. I was like, I forgot how good this fucking episode is. Welcome, everybody, to DC Fan-imated. I'm, of course, Dave the Film Junkie. With me, as always, Mr. Scott McClown. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I had breakfast with my dad, spent some time with him today, so that was great. And I was like, hey, I wanted to take him to go to see The Flash, but sadly he's like working because he does a helicopter pilot, and he had to actually work early, so he was like, no, he was up and stuff like that. So, but anyways, still great to spend time with him, and I'm sure you spend some time with your dad too.
Actually, no.
Oh,
us going to go see Raiders counted as
that's right,
as Father's Day. So my 10-year-old made me waffles this morning.
Aw.
And then the 3-year-old ran around going, waffles, 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 waffles.
Right, there you go. Yeah, there's a little Jurassic Park-esque thing that happens in here. That's right.
Oh yeah, and I got some fun facts about that, by the way. So.
Can't wait. So there you go. And she's wishing you a happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Mama.
2 points. Yeah. Who knew that Lois knew how to shoot like that, right? My God.
But they set it up in the episode.
Oh, you're right. They absolutely do. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. We are talking about a little piece from home, and man, like we were just saying right at the beginning, I mean, this episode, it's just, I mean, it's pure Superman. It's pure Lex Luthor versus Superman, Lois, and we get our first appearance. Well, not, and technically, I guess you could say not our first appearance of Kryptonite when it comes to Superman.
Because technically it showed up at the end of part 1, at the beginning of part 2.
Yes.
Yes. So
not quite the first time, but it's the first time we get knowledge of Kryptonite and certain other things too, other elements, I guess you could say.
And we also get several first appearances in this episode as well.
True. You're gonna have to come back in because you're pixelating again, of course. Yeah, well, yeah. That's for some reason that just happens at the beginning. Why does that happen at the beginning? But anyways, yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody right there. We got ACS, good to see you. We got Movie Watchmen. Hey guys, wanted to stop by real quick, say what's up. Yeah, happy. So there we go. All right, you're back.
It's the kryptonite poisoning. What can I say?
That's what it is. Yeah, you had that kryptonite right there. So, and of course, we've got Fear Jason. But yeah, ACS, I was just on with him and Ohio Dave on their stream.
Yeah, on Amateur Hour. Yeah,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We talked a lot of Rebel Moon and everything like that. But you were saying something before you had to, clear up the kryptonite flu.
Am I too soon? I'm too soon. No, just saying there's a lot of first appearances that happen in this episode. We got a lot to talk about.
We definitely do, which is we'll just dive right into it because there's a lot to really go over when it comes to this. Let's see, I got my notes up. There we go. But yeah, I mean, there's just watching this episode and revisiting it, I was just like, okay, yeah. Even just the way that it ends, I love the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
the whole thing, because like I said, it's just, this is as soon as we find out about Kryptonite, I mean, we get obviously, and just the fact it just moves at such a great pace.
These episodes are very well paced. They really kind of learn something.
And I was thinking about that too, because like when it came to Batman, obviously there were some things that were like, okay, we had some episodes where it's like, but I think like just having Batman be first and having all that, and now that they go to Superman, I think they just realize, okay, we know exactly how we should pace some of this some of these episodes, and just especially now that it's Superman and they just can keep them moving at a great pace. And this episode really does. I mean, right from the beginning when we go to the museum and Lex Luthor, of course, we get him talking first, and then him talking about the museum and what's all in there. And he's talking about, I mean, he obviously Press is there, Clark and Lois are there, and
someone else is there.
Who?
Right behind Lex. And by the way, I'm getting an echo from you. I hear myself. Yeah, I can hear myself on your video. So just heads up.
Is it really? Oh man, that's a first. That usually doesn't happen. Let's see.
See, it's the Kryptonite, man.
It's a Kryptonite that's happening. Is it still happening?
Testing.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Test. Oh, good. I'm gone now.
You're good. Okay.
I'm good.
Weird. Why did that? Anyways,
but as I was saying, if you look right over on the right side of the screen, right over Lex's shoulder, the very first appearance ever in any medium of Mercy Graves.
That's right. Mercy Graves makes an appearance in this show. And
she was created for this show.
Yeah, similar to a Harley Quinn kind of thing. And
exactly.
Thank you, Mike H, for the $2 super chat. Cheers to you. And you know what? It's funny because I mean, the voice. You know the voice?
I knew the voice. I was going to see if you knew the voice.
Well, the fact that I love House.
I was about to say, yes. I knew you loved House.
Yes. So I mean, it was just like, and it was funny because once I heard it, I was like, yep, it's and of course I can't remember her name like off
Lisa
Edelstein. Edelstein, there you go. Yes.
Who played Dr. Cuddy on House. Yes.
Cuddy, who of course they had a relationship, and of course she was always trying to control House, which he could not be controlled. Great series. I mean, I'm not big on the whole hospital doctor shows, but that one that and Scrubs, just love those shows. So,
that was one of my big things. I was like, come on, I knew what a big House fan you were. So I was like, please tell me that Dave knows who the voice of Mercy Graves is.
Totally.
But it's just so cool that her first appearance, she's just there.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even talk until like halfway through the episode, but she's just a presence there. And of course, she's been brought into live action and into the comics. But once again, another one of those characters that was first created for the animated series.
So cool. So cool. And then, so when Lex is talking about this, and of course, Lois being Lois, and we got to love this because she asked the questions like, she basically just asked him, like, is this a large tax shelter for LexCorp? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, of course it is.
He gets angry. He's not happy about that question.
No, but it kind of goes back to that point, and I don't think we quite pointed this out back in Last Son of Krypton Part 2 when it first get mentioned, but that in this series, like in the John Byrne relaunch post-Crisis in the comics, Lois and Lex had dated.
Oh yeah, that's right, because they do, and because Clark and her are talking, and she does mention that they did date at one point, so she knows how to push his buttons,
right? Because she also dumped him, and then, of course, that doesn't go over well with Lex whatsoever.
Of course not. It kind of makes you wonder, how long did they date? Had to be a pretty good length, maybe not a year quite.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, probably not a year, but it'd probably be more than 6 months, maybe. Who knows? Or maybe exactly 6 months, I guess. But anyways, right off the bat, we got some thieves that break right into the museum, and nobody here, of course, hears a little small explosion to create a hole like in the floor, but of course Clark naturally does. And I love how he goes, did you hear that? And then she's just like totally oblivious of all that stuff, and then man, you're pixelating again, dude. It's the Kryptonite. I tell you what, it's the Kryptonite. I don't know why this is. Usually it's just one time that he has to go in and out, but sadly it happened twice here. So fuck, man. So hopefully, maybe I don't know. There we go. All right, I'm telling you, this Kryptonite, it's just wreaking havoc on StreamYard today. God damn it. We're good. But so naturally, Clark has to do his disappearing act, to get back in there. And I love the fact that he takes the same path that that they took, because
Yes,
yeah,
I forgot about that because I was like,
yeah,
why is he going all the way over there?
yeah. Yeah, it's really cool because like instead of just like doing a normal like, hey, I could just whatever, Superman, he could burst through a wall if he wanted to, or go through a skylight again, like yeah, or whatever, and but this time he actually goes through the sewer to find where they entered, and I just thought that was really cool.
I agree. And then I love that even before then, like you got like the dumb one and the smart one,
Of course.
because you've got the smart one who knows that they've got those electric security fields, because Lex explained that the idea is so that there aren't cases, that everything's out in the open, because if you
Yeah.
get too close to it, it's gonna, give you a shock to the system. And of course, Doofus there grabs for it and shocks his ass off. And the guy's like, "You never listen." And he comes with gloves because he's ready to like reach through the electrical field
Mhm.
and and grab the big ass diamond that they're trying to steal.
Exactly. And then we got Superman, of course, who does just good old Superman toying. He starts toying with them, of course, and just kind of just moving really fast with his arms crossed and whatever the hell. But then when he gets in front of a certain display that has rocks, he starts, ugh, ugh, and what the hell's happening? Well, we got kryptonite just
Yeah,
displayed right there.
yeah, yeah. And then I love the dumb goo going, "Should we help him?" And doesn't the smart one go, "Yeah, we'll give him chicken soup and tuck him into bed." What? Get out of here!
It's like, come on, man. What the heck are you? Yeah, jeez. And then and then of course we have the Lex starts, he wants to open the doors to the museum, and then of course we get like an exhausted, woozy Superman that comes out. And I love how Lex will just use anything, like any reason to just be pissed off at Superman. And because Superman's like, yeah, thieves, try to stop him, and he's all out of it. And of course, Lois is concerned, and he goes, "Well, next time, call somebody who can do something, like the police." It's like, you just the hatred that Lex Luthor has for Superman.
Oh man. And then I love it when we cut to his office and he's watching the security footage. I love the fact that he knows who the guys are. Like he
Yeah.
knows them by name.
Yes.
Like, and then he just goes to Mercy, see that they're dealt with.
Because he runs. I mean, he runs Metropolis, so
He
I
does
mean, he knows.
Metropolis, and he's basically like, if you two are stupid enough to try to steal from me, there will be consequences.
Yeah, and then of course he sees that, okay, Superman started getting woozy and collapses down to his knees in front of that display. So naturally, it's like, all right, well, let's check out these rocks. And of course, he's got scientists that are like looking into it, and of course, they're looking at it like, yeah, this is not from here. This is from a distant planet, and blah 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 blah.
And one of those scientists is a voice to be mentioned.
Who is the voice?
Okay, Dr. Peterson. Now, he's
Yes.
the one who ends up calling Lois and giving her the 411 on the Kryptonite. That is voiced by John Rubinstein. Now,
Okay.
John Rubinstein is he's a character actor, so he's going to be one of that guy
Okay.
when you see his face. He's a
Mhm.
Tony Award winning actor. You'll look him up and you'll go, "Oh yeah, you've seen him in a million things."
Let me look him up.
Oh yeah. Now, fun fact, he is now our second actor who is a voice in Superman the Animated Series who appeared in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman.
No shit. What's his name again?
John Rubinstein,
John.
Rubinstein.
John. Why is this not working?
I don't
Oh,
know.
there we go. Okay, so he looks familiar.
Yeah,
It's an older picture.
yeah. Lois and Clark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you've known, like he's one of those guys that you don't know his name, but you've seen his face and you've heard his
Yeah.
voice and like
Oh, yeah.
a million things. And Lois and Clark, funny
Yeah.
enough, because of the Kryptonite connection, he played Dr. Emmett Vale in Lois and Clark.
Nice.
Now, do you know who Dr. Vale is?
I can't. No, I don't.
Okay. In the comics, Dr. Vale is the creator of Metallo.
Well, there you go. And we
And,
already got introduced. Yeah.
right. And in Batman v Superman, he's the doctor who's with
Oh,
Lex talking
yes.
to the senators when they come and visit LexCorp. That's Dr.
That's
Vale.
okay. Okay. I knew it all sounded familiar. There you go. Now it's all clicking. So that's pretty cool. Look at that correlation right there. We went from Superman the animated series to Lois and Clark to Batman vs Superman. That is great.
And once
See?
again, I just think it's funny that he plays the creator of Metallo, and then he's in the episode that introduces Kryptonite.
That's awesome. See, this is why we do this, folks. This is why we do this. But yeah, of course, when it comes to, I mean, Lex obviously wants to utilize this as a weapon, and there shouldn't be. Yeah, and I love the fact that this line that Lex delivers to him when he actually says, like, there shouldn't be an opinion in your head I haven't put there.
I
Like,
know, I love
ooh,
that line. Oh, it's one
man.
of those lines I remember from the show. And of course, Clancy Brown's delivery
Oh
is
yeah.
just
So it's just chef's kiss. Just absolutely. And then, like you said, like obviously we already teased the fact that we have Lois that is a good shooter. We cut back over to Daily Planet where, yeah, they established, and that, again, this is what's so great about this episode, is it's not just like, oh, okay, is just Lois just decides to do this one thing and then, like, to shoot something. It's like, no, we actually see her, because we've seen this many times in movies, TV shows, and everything, where somebody puts like a little bit of a hoop in front of a little small waste basket, and you take balls of sheets of paper, and you throw it to shoot, and then she's just doing that, and she's making all the shots. So we establish right there that we're going to see at the end of this episode when she throws a big rock into into a cup.
yes. You could refer to I'm not sure if this qualifies as a Chekhov's gun.
Mm,
It's definitely
mm.
foreshadowing,
Yes.
but I love anytime I can throw around, the technical terms, I'm gonna do it because that's what
Yes.
I'm here for in this show.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but once again, it's there for a purpose. And so shout out to Hillary J. Bader, who was the writer of this episode
Mm,
and and writes several episodes of Superman the animated series. She worked on Batman the animated series as well. But this era moving forward is where you're going to see her name pop up a little bit more.
yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, and then of course Clark was like, he intercepts one. We see his hand, and they start talking, and then of course she does that whole thing, like, as she's talking about it, and then it's that typical thing where what happened to you yesterday? You disappeared. What happened? And this is what I love too, because instead of him coming up with an excuse, something else happens that distracts that, so he doesn't have to come up with an excuse of where he disappeared to yesterday. Phone rings, and it's Dr. Peterson.
Dr. Peterson,
Yeah,
yes.
that calls. Yeah, so, or Professor Peterson, I guess. But yeah, so good on that. It's where Clark didn't have to, like, come up with some kind of alibi of where he was when he disappeared during that whole thing.
Yeah. And then this is about the point where we jump to the gym, I
Yeah.
believe, and we meet Joey.
Yeah, this guy, this douche.
Yeah, I know. By the way, I mean, he's got a great douche pedigree. Did you recognize that voice?
I mean, I wanted to say it was because I wrote some notes down, but I was like, I don't think it actually, because he sounded like Biff from
It
Back to the
is.
Future.
It's Tom
It is.
Wilson.
It is. Okay.
It's
Thank
Tom
you.
Wilson. Yeah, it's Tom
Yes,
Wilson.
I couldn't remember his name. I couldn't
Remember,
remember his name.
this isn't the first time Tom Wilson has appeared in the
Yep.
animated universe.
Yes.
Do you remember who he was before?
I can't remember.
He was Tony Zuko.
That's right. That's right. That's right. He was Tony Zuko in Robin's Reckoning. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But I was like, because at first when I heard the voice during this scene, it wasn't until like another scene where I was all, it's gotta be, and I just couldn't remember his name at the moment. I was like, is that Biff? It's gotta, is it? And then at some points I was like, no, it doesn't sound like him. But then there it is. He is. So yeah,
Good
that's
for
cool.
you, Dave.
See,
You're growing.
yes, I'm recognizing voices finally. I just got to remember the names. That's the bad part.
I know, but hey, at least I mean, it's not as bad as you not recognizing LeVar Burton. I'm sorry, that was
No, yeah, that was a bad one.
that was a bad
one.
one.
That was a bad one where I was like, I just was totally second guessing, and yeah, sadly did not get that. Go ahead and exit out and enter again. You're pixelating again. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. Jesus. Yeah, just started freaking acting up again. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I don't know why StreamYard's being such a massive see you next Tuesday today. But well, we're working it out. All right, you're back. You're looking good.
It got pissy with me because I was making fun of you.
That's what it was.
That's what
That's
it
what it
was.
was. But yeah, this guy, I mean, Joey's a douche, of course. And Mercy's not impressed. I love how he tries to impress Mercy because
And
it's
she
like,
kicks his ass.
dude, he's like, yeah, you want to feel? And she's just like, feel what? And then Lex is like, yeah, she's not impressed. And then she, of course, the whatchamacallit bag. I forgot what they call that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not a punching bag. It's like I forgot what they call that. And she just freaking roundhouse kicks that off the freaking chain. I'm like, she's a badass. Let's face it.
Yes. And she's really good because you do see her, if I remember correctly in the series, you see her more as like a kickboxer.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, she's a badass. She's definitely, but I always like how she looks like a chauffeur.
Yes.
Her outfit's always like she's got the hat, and it's not like a suit because obviously her legs are like, it's kind of like a skirt thing, but it's a cool. I like the design of her because it's
Yes.
just there's something about her where it's like, yeah, she's Lex's like right hand woman, and she's gonna kick some ass, but she's also she's got a uniform. She's got a uniform to her that is just I don't know, but where you go, I wouldn't want to fuck with her. I would not want to fuck with her.
Not at all.
Just the way she's dressed makes it even seem like I would not want to fuck with her. And then of course that gets displayed in this scene right here where she kicks that thing right off the freaking chain. So that was cool. And then of course we get to Clark at the diner, and Clark's hungry, and he wants to order food, and the waitress is very busy carrying a bunch of plates, almost falls. Clark quickly catches her.
It kind of gives me a little bit of like Spider-Man 1 vibes.
Was just about to say that.
About to
say that. Catches catches the some of the plates and everything, and makes sure she doesn't fall. Which similar to in, like you said, in Spider-Man in the cafeteria where Peter catches Mary Jane when she slips. Which that was all practical.
That's all practical.
That boggles my
mind.
Dude, I think it took like almost 30 takes. I think that I remember reading like it was like almost 30 takes before they got that. Absolutely. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's what's so great about that. Like every time I see that shot, I'm like, yep, that was all practical how they pulled that off. But again, took about almost 30 takes. I think it was like 27 if I read that information correctly. But anyways,
Dave, I think we just had our first tangent for the Superman the Animated Series.
I think we probably did. I don't think we've ever gone on to like something like that before. You might be correct.
Oh my God. Yes.
5 episodes in. Cheers.
Cheers. We had a tangent.
Yay. Love it. But yeah, so we get this is obviously after Lois has met with Peterson and got a little piece of kryptonite. And so she has it with her. And so like when she shows up,
doesn't feel good immediately as soon as she gets there.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too because I love it how Lois reacts to it. Like, you're not looking good, Smallville kind of thing, where it's like, because probably at this point, it's like, has Clark, I mean, who knows how long we've been into like Clark being at the Daily Planet. I mean, it's been a few months, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. And, it probably has never taken a sick day. And, he's a big strapping dude, even in his, in his suit.
He's still big. I mean,
let's face it. And now he's like showing that, he's not feeling good. I mean, he's just kind of like, and she's like noticing that, like, but of course explaining things to him and like giving him like information. But, it's just Clark is just, he's not feeling good because she has that little piece. And then of course Lois knows from the information that she got that she's basically saying to Clark that this drains Superman's powers. But it's kind of funny because like, aren't you seeing something here, Lois? Like the dude you're sitting across from, he's like looking pretty bad. But of course Clark does his best to be like, I'm fine.
I still love the fact that when she puts it in his hand, he it's like it burn. I mean, it's radiation, so it's like it it's like touching a hot stove for him, and I like that. But once again, he's not feeling that great, and that's like a tiny little sliver of
Mhm.
kryptonite. And I love establishing how little it takes. There's a line in an episode coming out in the next season that I've always loved, but I'll wait till we get to that one.
Don't say it
But I
now.
love, but I just love how it's like this little tiny sliver, and already he ain't feeling too hot.
Nope. And then is this our first mention of Star Labs in Superman?
You know what? I'm trying to remember. I think it is our first mention of Star Labs.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think if maybe it was like see, part of me wants to feel like it was like a throwaway line and maybe like Last Son of Krypton
Yeah, I know. I was kind of
part
wondering.
2. Yeah.
Because it's very distinct in this, because she's going to take the piece to Star Labs. That's what she says. But I was like, and I wrote the note down. I was like, is that our first mention of Star Labs in Superman? And I don't think
Yeah.
I don't know, might be. I don't know. I mean, it was mentioned, of course, in Batman, but I'm just kind of wondering if this was. Yeah, I think it might be. I don't know.
I don't know. By the way, once again, little piece of trivia. Do you know what the star in Star Lab stands for?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay. That stands for Scientific Technology Advanced Research Laboratories.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard. I mean, that's probably been mentioned. Was that mentioned in the Flash TV?
Oh, it was
show?
absolutely mentioned in the Flash TV
Okay,
show.
yeah. I was about to say. I mean, like, I mean, obviously, yeah, that was definitely mentioned in there. So, I mean, obviously, I fell off the Flash, about 3 or 4 seasons in, but I was like, yeah, that was mentioned somewhere in there. So,
Because Star Labs was, once again, a name you're going to hear over and over again, but created by John Byrne in that 1986 reboot.
nice.
Star Labs is a fairly recent creation in the comics.
Yeah. Well, Star Labs was in the original Flash TV show, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
it was.
Her
Well,
name was in
I'm
there.
trying to remember if they called it Star Labs
I'm
in the
pretty sure they
90s show.
did. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good question, but
Yeah.
still, but yeah, if it was, I'm gonna be honest, it's been a hot minute since I've watched the John Wesley Ship Show.
Yeah.
But but it only appeared for the first time in 1986. So
Maybe. I don't know. I remember like when the DC Universe came out, that streaming app, they had it on there, so I just fucking put it on and I was like, "Oh my god," because I love that show. Anyways, oh man, we're tangenting today, aren't we?
well, because there's so much in this
How much?
episode.
So freaking much. But at least we kept it in the same universe.
Universe this time,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
We straight up, big time when it came to Spider-Man. But and then I like how Ryan in the chat said like he was amazed how fast Lois ordered her food at the diner. Yeah, she was quick. She knows it's Lois Lane. She knows exactly what she wants. She wants a turkey turkey sandwich with something blah blah blah. I don't even know what the fuck it was, but yeah, it was quick. And then I love the fact that before she left, she orders hot soup, and because she knows that Clark is because she knows that Clark is not feeling well at all, and she just quickly does that. And I thought that was pretty sweet too, the fact that she did that. I mean, and I must say, man, when we get to these scenes now, how freaking
the jazz score. It's like
now we had some episodes like this when it came to Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah.
And I love the fact that they brought him back into this, because now we get back to Joey, who's going to be, robbing some guys that have some dollar bill plates, treasury plates to, obviously do some counterfeiting naturally. And yeah, this whole scene just has some just awesome little, finger snapping jazz that happens.
I mean, you got the snare drum and the cymbals, you got the horns going.
Yeah. Man.
We go total big band for this chase scene. It is great.
It's so great. It just works. It just freaking works. And I'm glad that they put that in there. And you got some Rocketeer vibes.
Dude. Did I not just go? Oh, those jetpacks. I
Yeah, the
love.
jetpacks were just Rocketeer vibes big time, because they're robbing them with flamethrowers, and then of course naturally Superman is chasing after them, and then they blow up a helicopter that falls off the building, and Superman does the Superman thing to make it prevent it from not crashing into the ground, throws it into the river, which is good. Great on Superman. But of course we all know that Lex Luthor is orchestrating this whole thing, and this is, again, it shows how Lex Luthor doesn't give a fuck about anyone. He's like, this is my chess game. This is my chess game.
Because you got the guys on the ground going,
yes,
past checkpoint 1. Like they're monitoring how
so cool.
How far. It's like, get ready, he's almost there. Like it's great. Oh, I love that device that one guy has that like is almost like a bola and like wraps Superman up in a cocoon, and then he like busts out of it. I mean, so much. By the way, if you go back and look, there are so many moments from this chase scene that end up in that opening, like the opening title sequence for Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah, because I mean, we're seeing Superman chase after goons that are in with jetpacks and have technology that slow them down, doesn't stop them, but slows them down. Until they get to like a building that's being, that's under construction. So it's just nothing there. There's beams. Obviously, we've seen this many times. But of course, a little piece of kryptonite, or not a little piece, but, a good chunk is hanging from the ceiling. And naturally, that's like Superman's, starting to feel. And then, of course, Joey, the ego that he has, he starts punching him. And he's like, you know what? Just gonna take him down myself, because he's got that ego. He's like, I'm going to take down Superman.
And Lex is like, bring him back to the center of the room.
Like, what did you expect? What did you expect, Lex? I mean, this dude, like when he was in the gym, did you not expect this was going to happen? The dude has an ego the size of the entire fucking metropolis. You think he was going to just like listen to what you had to say? No, he's going to be like, I'm going to be the guy that takes out Superman. It's like just dumb, but what could he do? But I mean, Lex, he didn't think about that, but again, and then of course they they fall off the skyscraper that's being built. They fall into that little man-made river that's happening, and then hey, we get a recurring character that shows up.
I know, I'm so
Bebo.
excited.
Yeah,
I know. Bebo Lebowski.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now, going back, did Brad Garrett play one of the voices of the goons and that was the thieves that was playing, like that broke into the museum?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I couldn't hear because my children wouldn't be. I got my kids to watch the episode with me, and I couldn't hear.
I think he was, because when I heard those voices, I think one of them was Brad Garrett.
Oh, but that would be so. That makes sense. I mean, how many times did we hear Conroy and Hamill, be like one-off little? Because I forgot there's actually a contract that says how many without having to pay you extra, how many additional characters they can ask you to voice in an episode before they have to pay you more.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that one of them was Brad Garrett, because I was like, I think that might be Brad Garrett, but I was like, well, what? I mean, I guess, he's part of this, but then when Bebo shows up, I was like, all right, yeah, that had to be, because he's already there for that. And it was just really short because he just, he's just there, and then that's it. You don't see him again. So I'm thinking that that's what happened, which, it makes sense, because it's like, why not?
And I love the recurring gag of, you don't look so good. It's like, you gotta believe Clark is going to be so sick and tired of hearing that by the end of the day.
Me, I don't look good. What about you? Anyways. But yeah, so we got all that happening, and then we see him, and then of course Lex suspects that the other people have the piece of the rock. There was the character. What was the character? I wrote the character down, and I'm totally blanking right now. Hamilton. That's
oh yeah. Oh no, this is important. This is another major first appearance for us.
Okay, because I know this character was like, I was like, this character I recognize.
Okay, Dr. Emil Hamilton.
Yes.
Lead scientist of Star Labs.
Yes.
created by John Byrne once
Nice.
again, because Dr. Emil Hamilton and Star Labs are like
Yeah.
this, so they were introduced at the same time. You would remember him because he's who Richard Schiff played in Man of Steel.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who figures out and fixes the key and the pod. Yeah. He showed up on Smallville. Once again, he was created in the reboot, and he is and he will continue to be a major recurring character in the animated universe. He shows up, of course, numerous times throughout the 56 episodes of Superman the Animated Series, and he actually goes beyond Superman the Animated Series. But once again, this is another one of those notable first appearances. Now, like I said, not created for the animated series, but his first appearance in the animated series.
Nice. Yeah. I was like, all right, Hamilton, we know that's an important dude. And I figured, like, when you were talking about the first appearances, I was like, this is one of them. And, so of course, Lex is like, oh, wait a minute, this guy, I don't know about him. And then, of course, we get Superman showing up to Lex's office. And I love this little exchange right here, because we already had our first exchange at the end of Last Son of Krypton Part 3. And now we get another one where, of course, Superman's just floating outside the window with his arms crossed. And, obviously he's like, hey, let me talk to this guy. And this exchange right here is just like Lex is just trying to make a deal with Superman. And, obviously Superman is like, he knows, like, okay, you have this, you have kryptonite, you're using this against me. And, of course, he doesn't want any kind of deal, and that he'll never control him. And then Lex, of course, you said the line right at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, if I can't control you, then I guess I'll have to kill you.
Oh.
Because Lex is like supremely confident this entire conversation. He is not backing down one bit.
Well, I think when it comes to just when figuring out the kryptonite, we just leveled the playing field right here. It's like, if this thing drains you of your powers, guess what, motherfucker? Now, of course, it's kryptonite. It's like, obviously, like, everybody always, when they're talking about Superman, it's like, that's always the Achilles heel. Like it's just the fact that this is what you do when you're human and trying to take on Superman. This is what Batman uses, what everybody uses. So I think he's like, all right, we've leveled the playing field. I have something on you. How the fuck now Lex is just, he's just so confident. And that's why this episode is so great, because of just we see Lex just playing this chess game with Superman and utilizing other people as pawns and everything. And that's just what I just really love about this episode.
Yeah. And then, of course, Lois, I really like, whenever Kryptonite does show up in the show, I always like how, like, the Star Lab scene with Emil Hamilton. I love when how do they go about explaining it? And Emil Hamilton is, because they also introduced the idea that lead will block it, and because I love it how he, like, puts it, like, in the little case and then throws it at Superman, and Superman's like, hot potato, and then he's like, oh, I'm fine. And
but I also love the fact that because Lois is there and Superman's not there yet, but of course he shows up because he's like, hey, what the fuck is this thing? Like, he's shaken up a little bit by this, because
absolutely,
Jesus Christ. So he wants answers too, and he doesn't have them. So the fact that, and I love the fact that they case it in the in lead and then throws it right at him, and it's like that had to be the fact that Superman was like, like, oh well, okay, we're good. So we get the introduction of, like, the fact that lead can shield Superman from this kryptonite,
which is going to be important moving forward.
Of course, always important. Very important. But so then, of course, asking questions, and then Peterson calls, and then of course we get Peterson that calls Lois to meet him at the museum, and that always seems a little fishy. It's always that little bit, it's always that little thing where it's like, oh yeah, meet me there, blah, blah, blah. And then of course when they hang up the phone and you see who's actually orchestrating it, it's of course Lex, who's orchestrating him, telling him to have Lois meet him at the museum. So naturally, Superman and Lois go in there, and Lois, being Lois, she's just like, let's just go in there, even though Superman was like trying to be like, hey, there's like nobody in there. What Lois? Like, God damn it, Lois. It's just like, that's one of those things where it's like, hey, I can look through the walls, Lois, to make sure everything's okay. But she's like, nope, no time. I'm going in, and yeah. And of course, shit goes down.
Oh, yeah. Because what do we get? A giant freaking robot Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes.
Oh,
why not?
Why not? Once again, another shot that ends up in the opening title sequence. Oh my God. And then of course, the kryptonite falls out of it and it's just sitting there in the middle of the room.
Yeah,
and of course, Lois trips the wire that shuts all the doors so they can't,
And Superman tries to hold up one of them, but of course the kryptonite's there and he's like, Lois, get the kryptonite out of here. It's a kind of a dramatic scene because now it's like, normally Superman could, just lift that door back up, but he's being weakened by the whole thing. And then of course she grabs it, and then of course this is where we're gonna like go right into it, because why not, when Lois is holding on to this beautiful green rock, and she's gonna like try to get, because they figure out that in the museum that there's like these cups, or
right, because earlier in the episode when Clark went to investigate the kryptonite and discovered it was missing, he overheard the tour guide explaining, and then we get a replay of it as Superman looks at it and remembers what he heard, which I think is so great that they make Superman like that, like that smart, because it's Clark and he's a reporter and he's remembering these things.
I also love that old lady that was like, what'd you expect them to do, dance? Because he was like, feeling the rocks. He's all, nothing. And then some old lady's like, what'd you expect them to do, dance? Just a little added, comedic element. Why not? But yeah, because we didn't really kind of talk about that. But yeah, there's a callback to that. So here's the scene right here where Lois is like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Dun, dun.
Oh.
Lois, she still has her purse on. I love it.
I know.
She aims. She shoots.
Callback. Bam.
Oh,
perfect.
2 points.
I think that was a 3-pointer.
I really did think that was a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Oh, that scene.
Just so close. Ouch.
Ouch.
Superman's still getting, handled right here, but, not as bad.
Like, this is almost more like, even without the kryptonite, this is just like how they've depowered him.
Yeah.
No! Oh, that scene! Rips his jaw
right there. Bam. Yes! Then I love that right there. It's like, crumple it up. And then, yes!
Yes!
Pissed. So freaking pissed. See, it's just I just love that. I just love that right there, because obviously, and then I love the fact that you see the electricity, because, we established that there's, electric current that's happening right there, so you can't touch it. So he just goes right through and just, there you go. We're good. And then of course, hands it to Lois. And then I love this scene right here. It's a good little scene between Superman and Lois, because, Lois is always being saved by Superman, but then Superman goes, well, thank you for saving me because of what you did. It's great. So
I also love it when he's like, and when you write about this, don't mention the kryptonite, because that is something that, you sometimes get in some Superman media where Lois like explains everything. It's like, yeah, kryptonite's something we don't want the general public knowing about.
No. And he was like, yeah, please do not talk about this. And then he just chucks it into space. And, it's just like, yeah, please do not talk about this. And then we get kind of like an Indiana Jones type ending.
Oh, yeah, we do. Because, of course, now that Lex knows about kryptonite, what's he doing? He's sending out all of his scientists to go find more of this stuff.
Yeah. It's like, there's got to be more of this. if we have this here, I mean, there's got to be some more of this. And, and you get these people that are just digging through. They're in the desert. They're looking through it. They're like, it's not green enough. That's just got to be like green and glowing. And then this, they find this rock and he just throws it. And of course, it does that dramatic, like, and then it pans over and you actually see like a piece of kryptonite glowing right there. And that's where it ends. And I was just like, oh, yeah, just Indiana Jones vibes. 100%.
Oh, yeah, because it's that great promise of, oh, there's more, folks.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't the only piece of kryptonite.
No, we're seeing more of this. We're definitely seeing more of this. But God, such a good episode.
Good episode. I want to take opportunity. I think I maybe mentioned this on Last Son of Krypton Part 1 as part of our introduction, but I want to remind everyone, since we've been talking so much about kryptonite tonight, kryptonite was one of the elements that did not first appear in the comics. It was introduced in the Adventures of Superman radio show. They created,
no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Along with something else. He doesn't appear this episode, but another element that was introduced in the radio show, Perry White.
Nice. Makes sense because, if you think about it, because if you're thinking about the radio show, it's like, yeah, because he's such a character that would fit in that era. Yeah. Wow. Didn't even know that. That's cool.
Kryptonite was invented for the radio show. Guys, I'm telling you, if you've not gone back and checked out
I need to
the radio show, you can get several episodes of like streaming, or you can purchase like on iTunes or something like that. But give it a listen. It's cheesy. You have to remember what radio programs were like back in the day, but there was a lot of elements. But once again, up in the sky, is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's Superman. That's the radio show. That was written for and first performed for the radio show. So a lot of stuff. And also, while I'm talking about the radio show, this is another great time that I would recommend reading Superman versus the Ku Klux Klan, which was about how it was the radio show that did that famous story arc where they put, I think it was called the Clan of the Fiery Cross, and that was basically them taking on the KKK through the radio program. So a lot of cool things to read up on about that show.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, those radio shows didn't like when they did War of the Worlds on radio. Didn't people like freak out because they thought it was real?
Right, because if you don't catch the introduction, Orson Welles saying that this is Mercury Radio Theater. It's written and performed like it's news.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that because I took a deep dive into War of Worlds because I've watched the original, I watched the new one. I just, I love alien invasion movies, and I remember reading about that, and I was like, God damn, people are actually thinking that aliens were
because there were commercials, there were ads. I mean, Orson Welles, they weren't trying to pull a prank.
No.
They make it very clear at the beginning that this is an adaptation. But people, when they tune in and don't catch the beginning, they don't have the context for what they're listening to.
It's just crazy. I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, what do we got next week?
Oh, hold on. I have another piece.
Shit.
I'm not done yet.
Not even done yet. Watch out.
I know. So did you think about anything when that T-Rex was running around in the museum?
I mean, I thought about Jurassic Park, but I didn't really think of anything more. I mean, obviously, like in the Batcave, there's like
the producers floated the idea of at one point Superman giving that Tyrannosaurus Rex to Batman as an homage to the T-Rex in the Batcave in the comics. The same way that they did the penny in Almost Got Him.
That's right.
To explain the big ass penny in the Batcave.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it too much, but when you were like, there's a significance, I was like, oh wait, there was a T-Rex in the Batcave and okay, there it is. I love it. Wow, so that's cool. So there you go, a little connection right there, a little connective tissue.
Yeah, it never. I mean, because the T-Rex never appears in the Batcave in Batman the Animated Series, and they never actually did the scene, but it was like an idea. We could get the T-Rex into the Batcave.
That's awesome right there. All right, well there you go.
Okay, now we're ready. Now we're ready.
For next week.
Okay. Okay. Next week, episode 6 of Superman the Animated Series is Feeding Time.
Feeding time. See, that's not ringing bells right now.
Okay. I'm going to help you.
Yes.
I had to help you last week. Okay.
Yes.
What Superman villain could this refer to?
Feeding time. Damn. Feeding time. No, I'm like totally blanking.
Okay, I'm going to give you his alias. So we get introduced to Rudy Jones.
Rudy Jones. See, it's not firing right now.
Oh,
I feel bad. I know. I'm totally disappointing right now.
This is going to be our first appearance of Parasite.
Ah, Jesus Christ! I just talked about
Parasite. I know,
God
dude.
Damn it!
I saw the Film Junkie short, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be perfect because we're going."
Damn it! I totally just blanked on that right now, and I just talked about that because James Gunn talked about that and I was like, that would be a cool fucking. And I was just, damn. I even was like making sure I had all. Jesus Christ! Yeah, there you go. Sunday, man. Yeah. So we got our first appearance of Parasite right there. Jesus Christ. I just talked about him too. I think that would be a cool villain to have live.
Oh, no. Parasite is an awesome villain when done correctly. I say that because I have certainly.
CW?
You know what?
Did they do it good?
I'm trying to remember.
I saw the pictures and I was like, pictures looked interesting. I don't know, but
no. When did they use Parasite?
I don't know, but I was making sure. I was like, when I was trying to find for my thumbnail, I typed in Parasite and I found a cool one that was like whatever, but I saw a CW version one and I was like, whoa.
I'll have to do it. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Actually, I think because I remember. Actually, they used a female version of Parasite for the second season of Superman and Lois.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I still gotta catch up on that.
Yeah, but yeah. So next week is going to be our introduction of Rudy Jones, aka Parasite.
It's going to be a good one. All right, make sure you guys check that out, and we'll be talking about it, of course, next Sunday at the same soup time, same soup channel. So go ahead and send us off, Scott.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. Our latest episode that just dropped on Friday night is our review of The Flash, currently in theaters. We're on Vero, Facebook, and YouTube with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com.
All right. Smash that like, thumbs up. See you guys tomorrow, of course, on Film Junkie Live. Follow us on all the sock meds out there, the social medias and everything. And we got lots to talk about, of course, on Film Junkie Live tomorrow. A lot of things have been happening, so should be a good episode. All right, guys. We love you. Thank you for spending some time with us, talking some Superman the Animated Series. We had a great time talking about this episode. And we'll talk to you guys later.